With the Netflix live-action One Piece series being a smashing success, fans have been eagerly waiting for what's to come with Season 2, namely, Alabasta, Crocodile. How are we going to see what is the legitimate first major obstacle for Luffy be transitioned to live-action? Well, we now have the answer. Welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idol, and yes, if you haven't heard the news, Netflix One Piece star Joe Manganiello says he checked in with Ichiro Oda to make sure portrayal of Crocodile was paying respect to source material. You gotta love this dude. Like, you gotta love Joe Manganiello. He's been in so many nerd-based productions before, whether it be the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man films, whether it be the True Blood for all the women out there, of course being part of the DCEU, being Deathstroke. He is a nerd's nerd. He's probably the fittest Dungeons & Dragons player to ever walk the earth, and his announcement of his casting for Crocodile was perfect. I loved it. In fact, I don't really disagree with think any of the casting of Season 2 of One Piece, but it's what he says here. It's about the conversations he has with Oda, and the fact that he's going out of his way to prove that Season 2 and his performance is going to be just as true to what fans request and desire. That should give us all hope, and that, yes, maybe this will not just be another Netflix one-season wonder. So we're going to get into this. Before we do, hit that subscribe button. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news nearly every day. Let's hear about what Joey Boy had to say. In keeping with the series' proven creative goal of treating Ichiro Oda's seminal manga with the utmost care, Netflix One Piece star Joe Manganiello says not only is he aware of the fan expectations towards his upcoming take on the villain's Crocodile, but he is actively working to respect them. Anytime we see actors or people in these sorts of creative positions to go out of their way to actually acknowledge us, the fans, the people that honestly make this possible, that's always a good sign. I always want to call out and give credit to it and give credence to it, because we've been living in a very dark age for the last several years where actors will take on these roles and they'll not take the source material into account, or the writers and creators won't take the source material into account, or they want to put their own spin on it because their narcissism makes them like they have to do something for themselves and to make sure they leave their mark, as opposed to just adequately portraying the characters that us fans grew up with and love and want to see. So yes, mad shout out to Joe. It goes on to say that Manganiello, who readers may recognize for his roles as Alcide Hervo, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correct, in HBO's True Blood, Flash Thompson in Sony's original Spider-Man film, and Deathstroke in the post-credit scene of Zack Snyder's Justice League, spoke to his approach to the Sand Fruits users' live-action portrayal while speaking to Parade's Mike Bloom in promotion of the upcoming series finale of Deal or No Deal Island, which the actor has hosted ever since its premiere in May of 2024. I did not know he was doing that. Interesting. Near the end of the time together, Bloom took a moment to turn the conversation to the topic of One Piece, in doing so pressing Manganiello to his experience with embracing a character that had so many canonical links from the original source material. In turn, the actor asserted, "It's a bit similar to when I was cast on True Blood to a certain degree." And that seems strange out the gate. It does. That's a weird comparison. Like, hey, how is being the big bad guy in this live-action anime and manga adaptation, what's that? To compare it to, like, oh, it's like being in this True Blood, the Desperate Housewives for vampire horny goth moms. Like, no, there is a link. He explains it pretty adequately. "I appeared in Season 3 of True Blood, and it was a series of very popular novels," he recalled. "So to be embodying a character that people love and are waiting for, that already has this established fan base on a show that's a moving train, basically, I'm jumping on that moving train, and it's a little bit similar." Bingo, bango, bongo. He's 100% correct. He knows that fans admire the source material, admire these characters. They're written the way they're written for a reason, and they should stay as such. The characters ought not be changed for modern sensibilities or to try and garner a new audience. It should be made to appease the existing fans first, and then when the existing fans rant and rave about it and the word of mouth about how good it is spreads, the goodwill will move on to the normies, to the individuals that may not have watched it or wouldn't have watched it. Hell, my dad is not an anime fan in the slightest, but you know what he watched because he heard it had good word of mouth? Live action One Piece, and he really enjoyed it. And I have no doubts that my dad will probably end up watching Season 2 because he did like Season 1. He went on vacation to Florida and came back with a One Piece shirt for me. I didn't even know my dad knew what One Piece was. From there, Manganiello admitted, with that said, there's a lot to digest because of the postmodern nature of One Piece. And again, you can tell he's looking at this from a very academic perspective, and he's right. There's kind of like colonial pirate era show, but there's like neon signs and people wearing Air Jordans. That was more of a change from the Netflix show, but it does still kind of work in the quirky, wacky, world that is One Piece. So it's very surrealistic and dreamlike, he told Bloom. But what I love is there's so many different spices to put in this jambalaya mix. I'm missing an arm. There's characters in the canon that are missing limbs, and they have things in common with why they're missing those limbs. So maybe think about, how did I lose my arm? He said canon. He's addressing canon. The dude knows what he's talking about. You loved, again, I shouldn't be surprised that arguably the world's most famous D&D player, like most famous person who's also a D&D player, cares about canon and lore, because that's kind of second nature to real D&D fans. But to hear it from a Hollywood actor, even knowing his background, still feels really great. To this end, the actor then revealed that because there are things that haven't been explained about the character in either the manga or the anime, I had the opportunity to talk to mangaka Eiichiro Oda about my thoughts on where his scar came from, or how he lost his limb happened and the hook was replaced, his new choice of profession as casino owner and mob boss rather than pirate, the devil fruit. I mean, the man talked with Oda, talked with the original creator on how to properly adapt this character, how to take this character that is larger than life, and you would think really would only work in the confines of something as zany or wacky as an animated show or as a manga, and say, we're bringing this to life. This is your vision. Let's work together on this so that it's done justice, not just for the fans, but also for you, the man behind this legendary character. And I mean, again, Crocodile was like the first legit threat to Luffy, so he truly needs to be done right in the show. So, I mean, I want more of this from Hollywood. I want to hear, the dude isn't talking about how much he hates Trump, or what he thinks about politics, or he isn't talking about, his thoughts on the gender pay gap, or are there enough trans people in the show. It's like, this is the character. Let's get it right. Let's talk to the Godfather himself about it. And we need more of this. I don't care if it's from Star Wars. I don't care if it's from Marvel. I don't care if it's for other video game adaptations. I just want actors that know these characters are why we're seeing insert show here. They might be a bonus. Maybe you like them as an actor. But 9 times out of 10, we're not coming for them. People didn't go to the Super Mario Bros. Movie because of Chris Pratt. They went because it was fucking Mario. So yes, for him to have this mentality, to him have this stable mindset, just ushers in such goodwill, added to the goodwill that Season 1 had already built up for actual fans of the manga and anime, like your boy here. Winding down his thoughts on the role as the first series antagonist to deliver a true defeat to Luffy amidst his quest to become the Pirate King, Manganiello noted, I mean, all these things have appeared in 2 dimensions up until now, and I have to breathe life into a 3-dimensional character while all these things have backstories, and there's a weight that the character carries around, while also tipping my hat to the existing fan base and paying respect to the 1,300 plus episodes of a cartoon that Japanese fans and fans around the world love. Yes, acknowledge the fans. Keep telling us that we're the reason for this. This is that good shit. This is that validation that nerds have wanted their entire lives, and it's only been thrown away in the last decade or decade and a half, ever since Disney effectively made nerd culture a commodity. I was going to say commoditized. I don't know if that's a word, but the point is, Disney made nerd culture a product. It's a commodity now, and it's not treated with the love and care and reverence that it should be treated with. So to hear these sorts of words, I mean, all the credit should be given. So I'm paying respects to them through my performance, the Alderman concluded, and it's just been a blast. Is there anything else? Yeah, having wrapped filming in February, the second season of Netflix live-action One Piece adaptation is currently planning to unfurl its sails and kick off its trip to the country of Alabasta sometime later this year. I have been a staunch advocate for the live-action One Piece. As somebody that was reading the manga back in 2002, as somebody that started watching the anime with the 4Kids dub in 2003, as terrible as it is, and then of course carried over to the actual Funimation dub on Toonami, and then once we caught up, moved to watching it in Japanese. I adore this anime. It's easily in my top 10. For a lot of folks, it's number 1. But the live-action One Piece, it was fantastic. It's arguably the best live-action adaptation of an anime we've ever gotten. It got my roommate into One Piece, and we went and rewatched the show from the beginning together. My grandmother liked it. My dad liked it. So many people who are not anime fans just saw what was inherently a good show. But what made it good? What made it good was its strict adherence to the whims and wishes of the original creator, Eiichiro Oda, and of course the fans themselves. So I'm sure you will probably hear other actors making similar statements because that goodwill has already been brought up and because it is so important. But to my knowledge, Joe is kind of the first one of the newbie cast coming out in Season 2 that have really been speaking like this. And Netflix kind of has a history of being one and dones. They've got, a first really great season, and Season 2 falls apart. They hook you in, and they make you think this is for you, but then they start injecting ideologies into it. They start making unnecessary changes to characters. They start abandoning source material if it's an adaptation. I don't really think we're going to get that when it comes to One Piece, not just because of Ichiro Oda's involvement, but because of the passion of the actors that care so much for the original source material. Just like Inaki Godoy cares about the role of Luffy, it's clear that this isn't just a paycheck for Joe Manganiello, and that he wants to do right by us and by you, and that should be commended. We spend so much time on the internet talking about negative things, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Snow White, and don't get me wrong, it's fun to point out the absolute downfalls of these dying industries, but when the good stuff does come, it's moments like these where we need to kick back and appreciate and be like, you know what? It's good to be a nerd, and I just gotta say, I am looking even more and more forward to One Piece Season 2, and by God, if it turns out I'm wrong, you bet your ass there'll be a retraction. I will tell you why Season 2 sucks, but for some reason, I really don't think that'll be the case. But those are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on X, where you can find me at Bolt the Word, and please do subscribe. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news nearly every day. Not always about, live-action adaptations of anime, but video games, movies, music, Magic the Gathering, you name it. Check me out on Instagram at wordsparadise_Leon, and become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord, choose the articles we go over on a day-to-day basis, choose the videos we react to on our Friday night live streams, and of course, get involved with over 180 other vital idols. We are a bright, beautiful, glowing, vibrant community that I cannot wait to grow even further, because we do care about diversity. But only one kind of diversity of thought. If that's interesting to you, join the Discord, hit subscribe, and until next time, it is all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.